the struggle of you trying to consistently like one up yourself after you release something that has like popped off and like went had some big numbers. Can you explain kind of your struggle with that and kind of how you've learned to overcome that? I know that's
Yeah,
probably linked it kind of to the whole mental health thing we were just talking about.
a little bit, but
Yeah,
this is more personal, like, and not
yeah,
as broad. Like, personally, it hurts when, I mean, I basically created this sound, right? This like signature thing.
hmm
And it did really well for myself in this era that sound was popping off, like experimental trap shit. And the first thing that started kind of getting to me was people mimicking that sound and like creating success through it. And I would see these people playing way more shows than me, even though they were in my DMs 5 months earlier, being like, "How do you
yeah,
make this sound?" Only for them to like replicate it and go tour off of it.
right.
And that shit fucked me up for a couple years. On top of that, it got us so much saturation of that same sound, and I released a sample pack, and that was like the death of me. I should never have done that, but everybody started using like even just straight raw audio clips that I put in the sample pack,
hmm
and it was just like I could only hear carbon copy versions of myself. So when I tried to get away from that, I noticed that my fan base was kind of not allowing me to change in that regard. And that was the way I was thinking, like, oh, like they won't let me evolve into this next thing because I wanted to
hmm
get away from that signature sound. I was like, okay, well, now that everybody sounds like this, I want to freaking move over here
So
and
you
stay
still
10
have a
steps.
unique sound. Yeah,
Yeah. And just like, I saw a few things on Reddit, like, oh, we missed the old something something, like the ignorant, blippy, atonal trap shit. And,
hmm
now I'm trying to put more of my musical background into my stuff and add just more feeling and emotion instead of just like, oh, you're effed up at a music festival and want to hear trippy noises,
yeah,
like that's
yeah,
cool too. Trust me, I love
yes.
making weird stuff. That's why producing so cool. You can make any noise you want. But there's got to be like that for me at least, like I have to be therapeutic with it and let those emotions come through my songs. And so yeah, that's one part, and then yeah, I made this song. It's like my magnum opus, I guess, but I made this song called "Bloom," and it's still one of my favorite songs I've ever made. Just the way
hmm
it was written, the flow of the track, the transitions. It was one of these things too where I woke up in the morning and I'm sitting next to my girlfriend in bed, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but I have this song in my head, and I have to make it happen. Like, I'm not gonna be able to hang out today. I'm not gonna say a word to you, probably.
leave
I'm
me,
just
leave me alone. I'm locking myself in my room.
Pretty much. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly that. And I in 24 hours came out with the song Bloom, and it was just so natural. And it was this thing, and it kind of was the first song that like huge people were playing. I think Troy Boy like still plays it today, and it was like
fire.
made four or
Love Troy
five
Boy.
years ago. So, you have these huge people playing your song all over every festival, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is awesome. But what happened in
hmm
production is I was like, okay, now I need to make another one of those because it did so well. And this is the one-upping yourself pressure that starts to deteriorate on your natural creativity. So like
Yeah.
instead of letting like that song, when I made it, it flowed out of me. It was just this thing. I can't now then sit in a session and go, I need to make another one of those because that would just take away the flow. It's not coming through me naturally. I'm
Right.
like consciously making a decision now to sound like this one song. So there's like a few that
And in a
tried to
way, you're
mimic it.
blocking yourself off almost when you are trying to force yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yep.
I released this song that was kinda like the second version of it. It's called Home. It's still out. Um, and it just didn't do as well. It, like, kinda
Mm.
flopped, and I felt like it flopped, and then I kept getting in this weird mindset of like, "Well, fuck, if I can't make a Bloom, I gotta make a hit." Like, I gotta make a song because now you're making money off your career. You're kinda touring. You're like, "I need to stay in the limelight."
Right.
And that just ruins the production. It makes it not fun anymore because now you're writing for the sake of the end product. What am I going to
Mm.
get if I write this song? Versus, I love making music. I'm going to open my laptop and whatever happens, happens. That's how you make good songs. You know what I mean? And I completely shut that off. I was trying to manipulate a record, and I tried that for a couple years until finally I was like, I'm not having fun with this. Like,
Yeah.
I need to have fun again. So I just started, one day I'd write like like a Tame Impala beat, like nothing to do with electronic music. I'd only use like full drum kits, and I would imagine, okay, I have 5 instruments, right? So I got to make a song out of these 5 instruments, and I
Yeah,
would play
yeah.
around with that and make a house beat, or I'd make like a super long orchestral Hans Zimmer style intro, or you know, I started having fun again. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think the pandemic too was a great reset as far as just like what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Um, and yeah, it's not to one up my previous self. It's I do this because I love it. I was born to do this, and I just need to keep going without thinking about the end goal. And that's where like the natural greatness comes out of writing music.